The road ahead stretched into an inky void, barely illuminated by the dim glow of my car's headlights. It was a moonless night, and the darkness seemed to swallow everything in its path. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling creeping up my spine. I had heard stories about this stretch of road, rumors of accidents, ghostly encounters, and inexplicable disappearances, but I had dismissed them as mere superstitions until that fateful night. I was driving home after a long day at work, exhausted and eager to crawl into bed. The clock struck midnight as I turned onto Route 9, a lonely and desolate highway that wound its way through the dense woods. I could feel a sense of isolation settling in, with no other cars in sight and no sign of civilization for miles. As I continued down the dark and winding road, strange occurrences started to unfold. The radio emitted an eerie static, punctuated by faint whispers that sent a chill down my spine. I attempted to change the station, but the dial seemed to have a mind of its own, cycling through channels without stopping at any of them. A sense of unease gnawed at my nerves, and I caught glimpses of shadowy figures darting in and out of my peripheral vision. My rational mind tried to attribute them to mere tricks of light and my imagination, but a deep-rooted fear began to take hold. Then, without warning, my headlights flickered, plunging me into total darkness for a moment. Panic surged through my veins as the car's engine sputtered, threatening to die. I slammed my foot on the gas pedal, hoping to get out of this accursed place, but the engine coughed and wheezed as if protesting the attempt. With a sigh of relief, the headlights flickered back to life, illuminating the road ahead. But my relief was short-lived as I noticed a figure standing by the side of the road just a few yards ahead. It was a woman in a tattered white dress, her dark hair cascading down her shoulders. She held out a hand as if asking for help. Every instinct in me screamed not to stop, to keep driving and leave this unsettling sight behind. But something compelled me to slow down, to offer assistance. I rolled down my window, the chill night air sending shivers down my spine. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice trembling. The woman's face remained obscured by the shadows, but I could feel her gaze on me. "Please," she whispered, "help me." Against my better judgment, I unlocked the passenger door and she climbed into the car without saying a word. As I continued driving, an inexplicable silence filled the car. The radio remained dead, the whispers gone, and I could only hear the soft sound of her breathing. I stole a glance at her and a jolt of terror shot through me. Her eyes were hollow, devoid of life or emotion, and her face was ashen, as if drained of all color. Fear paralyzed me, but I couldn't bring myself to ask her any questions. With each passing mile, the road seemed to stretch on forever. The surroundings grew more obscure, the woods closing in around us like a tightening noose. I felt as though I had entered another realm, one where time and space had lost their meaning. As if sensing my unease, the woman finally spoke. "You shouldn't have stopped," she said in a hauntingly cold voice. "This road, it's cursed." I mustered the courage to respond. "What do you mean? Who are you?" She turned her gaze toward me and a chill crawled up my spine. "I am trapped here, condemned to wander this road seeking someone to take my place and break the curse." My heart pounded in my chest. "What curse? I don't understand." Her lips curved into a sad smile. "Long ago, a young woman like me met her tragic end on this very road. Her soul could never find peace, and now she haunts it, claiming the souls of those who dare to stop and help her." Dread weighed heavy on me, and I realized the truth. I had fallen into her trap, and now my fate was entwined with hers. The road seemed to stretch on forever, no matter how fast I drove, and I knew there was no escape. As the night wore on, the woman's form began to fade, her figure becoming translucent like a ghost. "You must break the curse," she pleaded. "You must end this cycle of suffering." "How?" I asked, my voice cracking with fear. "Find my resting place," she whispered, her voice barely audible now. "Bury my remains in the old cemetery on the outskirts of town, and only then will you be free." The car suddenly slowed to a stop, the engine dying once more. I was left alone in the darkness, the woman's spectral form now vanished completely. My heart raced as I stepped out of the car, surrounded by the oppressive silence of the night. I had no choice but to embark on the grim quest she had set before me. The old cemetery lay miles away, but I knew I had to reach it before sunrise. With every step, the woods seemed to close in on me, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. When I finally reached the cemetery, the first light of dawn began to paint the horizon. I searched among the old tombstones until I found an unmarked grave, hidden among the overgrown weeds. With trembling hands, I dug into the soil, praying that this would end the curse. As I uncovered the skeletal remains, the air around me grew heavy with sorrow and anguish. Tears welled up in my eyes, not only for the lost soul before me, but also for the terror and torment I had endured throughout that haunting night. With the first rays of sunlight breaking through the trees, I buried the remains, offering a silent prayer for the woman's soul. A gust of wind whispered through the cemetery, carrying with it a sense of release and relief. As the curse lifted, the road before me began to shrink back to its normal state, and the car's engine roared to life once again. I drove away from that nightmarish road, forever changed by the experience. But even now, I can't forget the haunting road and the price I paid for my encounter with the ghostly hitchhiker. The memory of that night lingers like a ghostly presence, a chilling reminder that some roads are best left untraveled.